are common law lawyers of Ambazonia between the hammer and the anvil? In the last couple of days, events dangerously impacting common law lawyers who have stuck out their necks to remain operative within the embattled Ambazonian territory and even going beyond in defense of Ambazonians have actually become victims of their own seminal and continuing intellectual and professional contribution to the process of liberation of Ambazonia beyond words. Traditional African geography teaches us that rivers meander in flatlands not because straight paths are not possible, but rather because the river never asks the right way from the trees and the grass. This deep saying also applies to humans. Anyone who acts as if her or his stock of knowledge is full and of optimal taste and quality is more likely than not to fail from lack of spicing of his stock of knowledge with little portions that are collectible from other humans, whether they be ordinary or specialized. This is exactly the case between the handlers of manipulated defense forces on the ground. And these handlers are not within the national territory of Ambazonia, they are operating from offshore, virtually getting these defense forces to shoot themselves in the foot by attacking the lawyers and civilians that they are meant to protect. Of late, common law lawyers within the home territory of Amazonia, who have forever been providing such professional and intellectual defenses of Ambazonia like no amount of AK-47s can ever offer, have been tagged traitors because they chose to participate in an election into the governing council of a foreign bar, that is the Cameroon Bar Association, to which they belong. This move is driven by the most destructive ignorance. Let it be known that lawyers the world over are free to belong to a multiplicity of bar associations, and once they so do, they are each and collectively free to participate in the governance of those associations. I, for one, I belong to the Nigerian Bar, I belong to the Ambazonian Bar, I belong to the Cameroon Bar. There's no crime in that. Within the context of the Ambazonian La République du Cameroun establishment war, I had to sit in the belly of the Cameroon Bar Association for almost 30 years, understudying the general La République system to be able to ignite what people are now talking about from their rooftops. I can also give you the example of the Mau Mau movement in Kenya, which secured their independence from the British. Mau Mau members were under the skin of the British colonial government and economy in Kenya, harvesting critical information and passing them on to the fighters in the front line. Today, there are servicemen of the United States within the Russian intelligence system and vice versa for exclusively each country's particular security interests. The history books and those on the theory of intelligence abound. All we need to do is read. If not, ask those who care to read. And I may even add that those who are too lazy to read or listen to those who have read can watch some of the films of James Bond, 007. It is not rocket science to understand that the defense of a nation is not the defense of bare land. It is the defense of life and property within a defined territorial jurisdiction. Against the backdrop of what I have just stated above, I am calling to order in my right as a bona fide Ambazonian who has invested more than 52 years of his life in thoughts and actions in the Ambazonian Liberation Crusade to caution upstarts who take the liberty to toy with human lives, and those of Ambazonian common law lawyers especially, that the uninformed conduct will no longer be tolerated. The young men and women who are engaged in the defense of Ambazonian national territory should remember that we count on them to think and act for the nation and not some reckless individuals who are prone to manipulating them into messing up with their best collaborators for a faster re-establishment of a liberated and peaceful Ambazonia. I may apply this even to the businessmen through whom we can gather intelligence, information, and more. I am therefore, by this note, also endorsing all common law lawyers from within the Ambazonian territory to participate in the upcoming Bar Council election and election into the presidency of the General Assembly of the Cameroon Bar. You are encouraged to settle your differences within the House before going out for this election. In the event of any obstruction of this strategy from whatever quarters, we are poised to fall back on the Ambazonian Bar Association and to collaborate with other African bar associations, excluding any bar that would think we, common law lawyers of Ambazonia, are not fit to govern, whereas we are more than fit to govern ourselves and even teach others how to govern themselves in accordance with the principles of freedom and the role of lawyers in the security of freedom of the common man. And we address as the last bastion of the common man's freedom, dear colleagues, dear Ambazonians, let the lawyers live what they have been identified to be the world over. In one spirit of revolutionary lawyering solidarity, I remain yours truly and faithfully, Bobga Mbuton Esquire, head of Ambazonian Bar Association since January 13, 2017. President and CEO of Southern Cameroon Bar Foundation, USA, since April 2017. Done this day of our Lord in Washington, D.C., United States of America, May 11th, 2022.